Yeah, Shalom Lecha, Shabbat Shalom.
Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High God Yahweh, His only God, Son Yahweh Shai. Back with another Torah portion.
And this week's Torah portion will be Leche, Lech, means to go forth. Okay, we'll be reading, the Torah portion will be from Genesis, the 12th chapter, in the first verse, going over to Genesis, the 17th chapter, verse 27. The half Torah portion will be in Isaiah, the 40th chapter, verse 27, to Isaiah, the 41st chapter, verse 16. The Brit Kadash, also known as the New Testament portion, will be in St. John, the 8th chapter, verses 51 through 58. All right, so this week's Torah portion will be reading about Abraham, okay? How he was called by the Most High, he didn't forsake his duties and his due diligence to following the Most High's commandments, his instructions, and what he had to go forth to do for the Most High. So without any further ado, I say Amadium while upon Jerusalem. Let's stand and face towards Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem. All right, and we'll open up with Yahweh Shai's prayer, Abanawa. All right, so let's stand. Everybody ready?
Come.
All right, here we go. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwavka.
Malakwavka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Razaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kahaya.
Kahaya.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Nathalanawa.
Nathalanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Call.
One.
Wasalakanawa.
Wasalakanawa.
Kabawakinawa.
Kabawakinawa.
Kashalakanawa.
Kashalakinawa.
Kabawakinawa.
Kabawakinawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Dabiawanawa.
Dabiawanawa.
Benasaya 1.
Benasaya 1.
Abo.
Abo.
Hawashainawa.
Hawashainawa.
Munrai.
Munrai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Wa
Allah.
Allah.
Wa Thapara.
Wa Thapara.
Wa Abalumium.
Wa Abalumium.
Aman.
Aman.
Basham.
Basham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Aman.
Aman.
Our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in heaven.
Which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Thy kingdom
Thy
come.
kingdom come.
Thy will be
Thy will
done.
be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread.
And forgive us.
And forgive us
Our debt.
our debts.
As we forgive.
As we forgive
Our debtors.
our debtors.
And lead us not.
And lead us not
into
into
temptation.
temptation.
But deliver
But
us.
deliver us
From evil.
from evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom.
thine is the kingdom
And the power.
and the power
And the glory.
and the glory
Forever.
forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Basham.
Basham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Amen.
Amen.
Right. Psalms 84 verse 4, Psalms 144 verse 15, Psalms 145, Psalms 115 verse 18. I'll say it. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. They will still be praising thee, Selah. Happy is that peoples in such a case. Yea, happy is that peoples as Allahiyah is Yahweh. I will have told thee, my Allahiyah, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation will praise thy works to another, and I shall declare thy mighty acts. And I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercy over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Yahweh, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of the glory of thy kingdom, and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. Yahweh upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. Bow down. The eyes of thee, and thou givest them to meat in due season. Thou openest thy hand and satisfy desire every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. Yahweh is nigh to all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. Yahweh preserves all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. Shall speak of the praise of Yahweh, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. But we will bless Yahweh from this time forth and for even forevermore. Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Aman, Hallelujah, 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 Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Aman. The first three prayers of Manda, call and response. Abawaf, Barakatan, Yahweh, Alahayanawa, Alahaya, Abawaflanawa, Alahaya, Abaraham, Alahaya, Yatazakwa, Wahala, Haya, Yaikwa, Allah, Shaya, Allah, Hayawan, Gamar, Kasadayam, Barakatan, Yahweh, Magun, Abaraham, Gabawarwa, Adan, Yahweh, Gabor, La'iwalam, Yahweh, Makaya, Matayam, Wamaya, Dawama, Lecha, Malak, Ha'iwalam, Mamaya, Wamakaya, Barakatan, Yahweh, Makaya, Matayam, for the war hash, Shem Yahweh, Atan, for the Yash, Washemka, for the wash, for the Washyam, Bakal, Yawam, Hala, Wakasa, Barakatan, Yahweh, Ha'Allah, Hakwad the wash. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the power of our father, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of Yaquah, Almighty power, Most High power, who bestows mercy. Blessed are you, Yahweh. The shield of Abraham. You are mighty Yahweh. Forever. Yahweh. Who revives the dead. Who's comparable to you? King of eternity. Who caused death. And gives life. Blessed are you. Yahweh. Who gives life. To the dead. You are holy Yahweh. And your name is holy. And the Holy One. Every day. Praise you. Forever. Blessed are you, Yahweh. The power who is holy. Bashem. Yahweh Shai. Hamashiach. Aman. Body understand? Okay, the anointing prayer. Yabaraka, number 6, 24 to 26. Okay, here we go. Yabaraka, Yahweh, Washamarka, Ya'ar, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayakanka, Yasha'ah, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayashamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Barak, Rapar, Shamar, Kazak, say your name.
Kimball Jean Lewis.
Brian G. Lewis.
Nathaniel, Yahweh,
Barak,
Rapar, Shamar,
Kazak,
say your name.
Kimball Jean Lewis.
Brian G. Lewis.
Nathaniel, Yahweh, Barak,
Rapar,
Shamar, Kazak, say your name.
Kimball Jean Lewis.
Brian G. Lewis.
Nathaniel, Bashem,
Bashem,
Yehoshua,
Yahushua,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Aman,
Aman,
Yahweh bless thee,
Yahweh bless thee
and keep thee,
and keep thee.
Aman,
Aman,
Yahweh make his face,
Yahweh make his face
shine upon thee,
shine upon
and
thee,
be gracious,
and be gracious
unto thee,
unto thee.
Aman,
Aman,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
lift up his countenance
lift up his countenance
upon thee,
upon thee,
and give thee peace,
and give thee peace.
Aman,
Aman,
hallelujah,
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 Bashem,
Bashem,
Yehoshua,
Yahushua,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Aman.
Aman,
Okay, the last three prayers of the Mada. Abba Wadah,
Abba Wadah,
Ratazah,
Ratazah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Allahayanawa,
Alahayinawa,
Ban Amka,
Bananka,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Wapagnawa,
Wapanawa,
Wahabsha,
Wahabsha,
Af, Abba Wadah,
Abba Wadah,
Bayaka,
Bayaka,
Makwadashka,
Makodashka,
Wahabsha,
Wahabsha,
Banya,
Banya,
Tazakwa,
Tazakwa,
Ban,
Ban,
Aharon,
Aharon,
Barakathan,
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 Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Habsha,
Habsha,
Ha, Iwawadah, Ayaka,
Bayaka,
La Yahanyaka,
Layahanyaka,
Mawadayam,
Mahodayam,
Anaknawa,
Anaknawa,
Laka,
Laka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Allahayanawa,
Alahayinawa,
La Iwalam,
La'awalam,
Magan,
Magan,
Yashainawa,
Yeshayinawa,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Shayam,
Shayam,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Tabubah,
Tarubah,
Barakakan,
Barakakan,
Kahan,
Kahan,
Wakasad,
Wakasad,
Rarakakayam,
Barakakayam,
Alanawa,
Alanawa,
Wa'ayel,
Wa'ayel,
Call,
Call,
Yasha'ala,
Yasharala,
Ainka.
Ainka,
Be favorable,
Be
Yahweh.
favorable, Yahweh.
Be favorable,
Be faithful
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
to your people,
to your people,
Yasha'ala,
Yasharala,
into our prayer.
into our prayer,
Restore
restore
the service
the service
of your holy house,
of your holy
and
house,
restore
and restore
the son
the son
of the Zakwa,
of the Zakwa,
Zara,
Zara,
son of Aaron.
son of Aaron.
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
that restores the service
that restores the service
of your house to your priest.
to your priests.
We thank you, Yahweh,
We thank you, Yahweh,
our power,
our power,
forever,
forever,
shield of our salvation,
shield of our salvation,
grant peace,
grant peace,
goodness,
goodness,
and blessing,
and blessing,
grace,
grace,
and kindness,
and kindness,
and compassion,
and compassion
upon us,
upon us,
and upon all,
and upon all,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
your people,
your people,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Yehoshua,
Yahushua,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Aman.
Aman.
Okay, Psalms 121, a song of degrees in a Paleo Hebrew, a F.O.R. Y'all ready?
Come,
Okay. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ayel,
Ayel,
Aharyam,
Aharyam,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Isaiah,
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 Azariah,
Ma'ayin,
Ma'ayin,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
Ra'aratazah,
Ra'aratazah,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yatan,
Yatan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Regalka,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawan,
Yanawan,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yanashan,
Yanashan,
Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha'al,
Yasha'al,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazarka,
Ayel,
Ayel,
Yun,
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 Ka,
Ka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashemah,
Hashemah,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yavaraka,
Yavaraka,
Wayarakaka,
Wayarakaka,
Ba,
Ba,
La Yala,
La Yala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Makor,
Makor,
Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Ah,
Ah,
Napashka,
Napashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Yatazalka,
Yatazalka,
Wabarakakan,
Wabarakakan,
Ma'aitan,
Ma'aitan,
Wa'ayel,
Wa'ayel,
Iwalam,
Iwalam,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Aman.
Aman.
Okay, Psalms 121, a song of degrees. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasha Allah shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper, Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushua.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Aman.
Aman.
Okay, read Psalms 92.
Whole chapter.
Yes. Psalms 92.
This is Psalm chapter 92, verse 1. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 string, and upon the pastry, upon the harp with a sounding sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither do they fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, when the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. My eye also shall see the desire on my enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to shew that the Lord is upright. He is my rock. There is no unrighteousness in him.
Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushua.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Aman.
Aman.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushua.
The water.
The water.
Hashabah.
Hashabah.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Amafka.
Mafka.
The water.
The water.
Hashabah.
Hashabah.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushua.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Aman.
Aman.
You shall be seated. Okay, so this week's reading, as I said earlier, we'll be reading in Genesis, the 12th chapter, starting from verse 1, going all the way over to Genesis, the 17th chapter, ending at verse 27. Okay. Half Torah portion will be Isaiah, the 40th chapter, verse 27, to Isaiah, the 41st chapter, to verse 16. The Brit Kadash will be in St. John, the 8th chapter, verses 51 through 58. Right. Step away. Okay, first reader.
Kimball Jean Lewis, Bun Ronald, Bun Lawyer, Bun Yashala.
Madiam. Barak.
Yah Bashem Yasha Brakatan.
Yahweh Yahushua. Barakatah.
Okay, we start in Genesis, the 12th chapter. We'll probably break in and just give commentary, so we have to do it at the end of the chapter. All right, go ahead and start.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 12 and verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee.
So, Abram, before his name was changed to Abraham, received instructions from the Most High to leave his family leave the area of land that he was living at and to go forth to a place unknown to him, but a place known to the Most High. All right. And he obeyed. So he was to go forth and carry out the mission of what the Most High had in store for him. Continue with verse 2, right?
Come.
Go ahead.
And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
So from Abram, many nations would be born from his loins, okay, including us, the nation of Israel, as well as other nations.
Come.
All right. Like the nations that we read about, that we did read about in Genesis, the 10th chapter, the table of nations. Well, this is the progenitor of those nations, Abraham. Abram. Go ahead.
This is verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So through Abram, should all the families of the earth be blessed. Okay, go ahead.
So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran.
So at 75 years old, he's about to go on a journey of a lifetime and follow the instructions of the Most High as he takes this journey. And he took his son-in-law Lot along with him. Go ahead.
This is verse 5. And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substances that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came.
So they went into the land of Canaan, okay, that was inhabited by other nations surrounding them, but he was on a mission from the Most High. So the Most High was with him. I got the service on the which trying to. All right, go ahead.
This is verse 6. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land.
So the land of Canaan, he told Abram that through thy seed will I give this land to. Go ahead.
And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. This is verse 8. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord.
So he built an altar so he could offer up sacrifices unto the Most High.
Come.
Okay, go ahead.
It's verse 9. And Abram journeyed going on still toward the south, and there was a famine in the land. And Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there.
So there was a famine in the land, so Abram, along with his wife, went down into Egypt. Shirah. Go ahead.
For the famine was grievous in the land. This is verse 11.
Okay.
And it came to pass, when he was near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Verse 12. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive.
So he foresaw danger and was telling his wife Shirah that if they look upon you and see how pretty you are, they might kill me and take you. So he's going to devise a plan to avoid that from happening. At least this is what he thought. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake.
So he told his wife, Shirah, that tell everybody that you're my sister. and hopefully because of that, they won't have a reason to kill me. All right, what verse you in?
Still verse 13.
All right.
And my soul shall live because of thee. This is verse 14. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair. Verse 15. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commanded her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house.
So they took his wife and brought her into Pharaoh's house so he could look upon her and see how beautiful she was.
Go
ahead.
Verse 16. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen and his asses and men servants and maidservants and she asses and camels.
So he had an entourage with him, along with servants to help him carry this entourage as they went forth on this journey. So he had manservants, female servants, he had cattle, he had asses, sheep, and of course tents and all the necessary items that need to go into tents. All right, go ahead.
This is verse 17. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife.
So the Lord started to plague Pharaoh's house because Sarah was in his house, who was actually Abram's wife. So he started to plague Pharaoh. Go ahead, what verse you in?
Verse 18.
All right.
And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this thou that hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Verse 19.
So Pharaoh called Abram and said, hey, why didn't you tell me that this was your wife? Because he realized that all this stuff that was happening in his house was because of this woman, this new woman that was brought in his house. So he decided to ask Abram, like, why didn't you just tell me? So Abram's going to, let him know why he didn't do it. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Why saidest thou she is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way.
So instead of telling me that she was your sister, you should have told me that she was your wife. Now go ahead and take her and go thy way. All right, so you can take these plagues with you also. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. That's the end of the chapter.
That's the end of the chapter. Okay, how many verses in chapter 13?
13 is 18 verses.
18 verses.
All right, you're going to do that one too.
Come
All right. You know the close out.
It's like Kashara.
Kashara.
Okay. Come. Kashara.
Kashara.
The Bar Yahweh.
The Bar Yahweh.
Naisha.
Naisha.
Shabbat Shemai.
Wanashemai.
Again.
Kashara.
Kashara.
The Bar Yahweh.
The Bar Yahweh.
Naisha.
Naisha.
Wanashemai.
Wanashemai.
All that Yahweh said.
All that Yahweh said.
What we doing here?
What we doing here?
Okay. So, you're going to have to do your ready for you continuing in your reading.
So I just continue.
Well, let's do it.
Come.
Quick, fast. Call it.
Kimball Jean Lewis. Bun Ronald. Bun Lawyer. Bun Yashala.
Banya. Rock.
Yabashim Yasha Braktan.
Yabashim Yasha.
Come.
Okay. So we're in chapter 13 now. Okay. Go ahead and start.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13 and verse 1. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai. This is verse 4. Unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. This is verse 6. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together.
Because both of them, Lot and Abram, had much substance as far as cattle, sheep, etc. Land wasn't able to provide grazing for both stocks of animals. All right, so they come to that realization. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. This is verse 7. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land.
So the Canaanite and Perizzite dwelled within the land, but Abram's herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen would get into some real beef about the grazing rights of the land.
Con.
All right, go ahead. What verse you want?
Verse 8.
Okay.
And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Verse 9. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, for me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
So Abram's basically telling Lot, I'm gonna let you choose which side of this land that you want. Whichever side that you choose, I'm gonna just go opposite of what you choose.
Con.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 10. So this is verse 10. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the gardens of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Verse 11. Then Lot chose him, all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other.
So they separated from the other. Lot chose to head towards the by the area of Sodom. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly.
So the men of Sodom, as well as the women,
It's not homosexuals.
yeah, 5 cities of Canaanites laden with homosexuality. Okay, homosexuality is nothing new under the sun. Okay, so these were Africans indulged in this perversion and this wickedness, sorcery and witchcraft and everything else that goes with it. Okay, full of sin, full of evil, and the kind. Okay, so this is what the men of Sodom. What verse you in?
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward and southward, and eastward and westward.
So the Most High tell Abram to look east, north, and westward. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Verse 16. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered.
Well, can't number the dust of the earth. And we are in that same category as far as the number of children of Israel. That's why King Dawiyar was instructed not to number, not take a census of the children of Israel, which he did, and the Most High was angry and punished him accordingly.
Come.
All right. So Abram's seed would be like the sands of the land. Okay, you can't, impossible to number. Okay, so what verse you in?
Verse 17.
Okay.
Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth, Salakia, I'm gonna read. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Verse 18. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord.
So he built an altar in the place. What was the place called again?
Mamre. Come.
In Hebron.
Mamre in Hebron. Come.
Okay, and that's the end of the chapter. Okay, so let's close out the chapter and bring it to the next reader. All right, so that was Genesis 13th chapter. So we're reading about Abram and Lot separating, okay, because they had much cattle, much possessions, and the land could not support both families. And when we say family, it wasn't just his immediate family, his wife and his children. It was the servants and their servants and the workmen that helped cultivate the land, okay? You can't cultivate hundreds of acres by yourself. It's impossible. Okay, so that family included all the people that had the skill sets needed. Okay, you had the blacksmith. Okay, you had the artifactor who worked with the metals. All right, to make swords and different tools. Okay, you need bakers, you need cooks, tent makers, tent repairers, sewers. All right, so you had a whole host of people with different skill sets that make up Abram's family. Okay, so let's close out Genesis the 13th chapter. Go ahead.
Kal Shara.
Shara.
The Bar Yahweh.
The Bar Yahweh.
Na'isha.
Na'isha.
Wenah Shemar.
Wenah Shemar.
All that Yahweh said.
All that Yahweh said.
What we doing here?
What we doing here?
Next reader.
15.
No, man.
No, Genesis.
Yeah, chapter that's 14, chapter 14.
Okay. Oh. Hashap Yogabar, Ban Merle, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yasharala.
Madi. Rock.
Yao Bashem Yao Shai Brakata.
Yao Bashim Yao Shai Brakata.
Okay. All right. We in Genesis, the 14th chapter.
Come.
Okay. How many verses in Genesis 14?
24.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, 24.
Oh, God.
Genesis chapter 14 and verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Ariat, king of Eleazar, Kediar Laamar, king of Elam, and Tadar, king of nations, that these made war with Barah, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemabar, king of Zebon, and the king of Bala, which is in Zoar, Salah, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt seas. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and the Zazims in Ham, and the Amims in Shua, Karaitam, and the Horites in the Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites and all the Amorites, and dwelt Hezazon Tamar.
So you see this campaign of conquering and taking over of cities and lands by these groups of people that joined together after denouncing the leadership that they had for those 12 years. So in that 13th year, they said, well, we got enough in number, we can rebel.
Come.
All right, so go ahead.
Verse 8. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zebon, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and the Tidal king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Ariat, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there. And they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother, Salah, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
So they took captive Abram's brother-in-law Lot, along with his family and all his possessions, and took him into captivity. Really didn't have a choice. It was either that or be killed. So he took the lesser road. Okay, he took captivity.
Come.
So they just
Straight house move.
They just took
Gangster. Let's go.
Gangsters.
All right, what verse you in?
Verse 13. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Menrah, the Amorite.
Abram the Hebrew. Okay. So one that escaped all this turmoil came and told Abram what just happened to his son-in-law Lot.
Come.
All right, go ahead.
Brothers of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his own house.
So he armed his trained servants. So what did that mean? Growing up, they learned how to throw down. Okay, swords, hands, knives, horsemanship, basic survival. Okay, warriorship. Okay, they were trained servants. Okay, so he had his own army to protect his possessions. You can't walk around with gold and silver without an army. Okay, it is what it is. If you don't have an army, it's liable for anybody to take. If they see that you don't have nothing to protect yourself. All right. So what verse you in?
Still verse 14.
Go ahead.
318 and pursued them unto Dan.
So he took 318 trained men and pursued after the ones that took Lot, his son-in-law. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah.
So he did guerrilla warfare. He attacked at night when the advantage was his. Okay, they couldn't see how many numbers he had, and he had the element of surprise, and he was ambushing, assaulting, and moving. You know, stick and move. So that's how he attacked, and got the upper hand in this battle with only 300 men against an army of 4 kings. Go ahead.
They have some people, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Verse 16. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
So he smote the army, and then gathered all those that wanted to come with him. So that was people, along with Lot, and the women of that area. He gathered them to come follow him. Go ahead.
And the king of Sodom him after the return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer.
So the king of Sodom, who lost the first battle, came out and met Abraham after Abraham won the battle to gain back Lot and all his possessions, and then some. Go ahead.
And of the kings that were with him at the valley of Savat, which is the king's dell. Verse 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was of the Most High God.
So Melchizedek, okay, pull that in Hebrews about Melchizedek?
Oh, he was 7.
Yeah, I believe, yeah. Con. Let's read about, you stay where you're at.
Con.
Let me know when you get it. All right, Melchizedek. The topic of itself, but short answer, that was Yahweh Shai coming from the spirit. He came as Melchizedek. Okay, for those that understand. Okay, you got it. All right, call you chapter.
This is Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by inspiration king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
So Abram gave a 10th part of what he gathered unto King Melchizedek. All right, go ahead.
Without father, without mother.
So this is the lineage, the breakdown of King Melchizedek. He's what?
Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life.
So basically, he came from the 4th dimension into the 3rd dimension and appeared before Abram. Okay, that's why that statement can stand. He had no father, he had no mother. Okay, he had no beginning, he had no end. He went back into the 4th dimension. That was Yahweh Shai coming as King Melchizedek. Okay, any more to that?
But made like unto the Son of God.
Oh, English. Well, that and then, okay, verse 3.
Yeah.
Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor the end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yahweh, abideth, abideth or biddeth a priest continually. Now consider his great, this man was unto who even the patriarch Abraham 10th of his spoils. Okay, so that was it on that. So Abraham gave a 10th portion of his spoils unto King Melchizedek. Okay, who came from the 4th dimension to meet him. Okay, who was Yahweh Shai. Okay, so let's go back. Where you at?
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
And blessed him.
What chapter?
Chapter 14.
Okay.
Chapter 14. Genesis chapter 14, verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which had delivered thine enemies into thy hand.
So blessed be Yahweh who delivered his enemies into his hand, because the victory belongs to the Most High. It wasn't man's victory, it was the Most High's victory. He just used Abram as an instrument and tool to gain that victory physically. Okay. So because technically can't no 300 men go up against an army. Okay, unless you have divine intervention spiritually, okay, which is the Most High, divinely intervening so you can win, have victories. Okay, go ahead.
And he gave tithes of all. And the king of Sodom and unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself. Verse 22. And Abram,
verse 21, read that again.
Okay, verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself.
So the king of Sodom wanted all the women and all the persons that came with him from that victory of battle. Okay, but let him keep the animals and the husbandry and whatever other inanimate objects that he gathered from that victory. All right, but listen what Abram's going to tell him. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich.
So Abram basically told the king of Solomon, I'm not taking nothing from you. You're not giving me anything, because it's the Most High that gave me this physical possession.
Come.
And he basically told him, like, nah, I'm not taking this from you. That's like saying that you gave it to me when it was the Most High. So he nipped that in the bud because he knew how this was going to come back and haunt him if he did take whatever gift the king of Solomon was trying to give him.
Come.
All right, go ahead.
Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, and Ner, Escol, and Mamre.
So Abram said, I'm read that again.
Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me.
So give the men their portion. You don't have to give me anything. Okay.
Come.
The men that went in battle with me, give them their fair portion. Okay, go ahead.
Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion. That's the end of the chapter.
Okay, close out. We're gonna do 15.
Come. Call Asherah,
Call Asherah,
the Bar Yahweh,
The Bar Yahweh,
Naishah,
Naishah,
Wanal Shemai.
Wanal Shemai.
All that Yahweh said,
All that Yahweh said,
what we doing here?
what we doing here?
Just letting y'all know that's watching, we will do Q&A at the end of the video.
Okay.
Next reader, am I still doing?
No, you're still going. Go ahead.
Okay. Hashapio Gabar, Ban Moro, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yasharala.
Madium. Barak.
Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Brakatah.
Okay. You're in chapter 15.
Come.
Okay. We're going to read about the covenant, the contract, the agreement that the Most High Abraham. Okay. Abram. Right now.
Come.
All right, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 1.
All right.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abraham said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine here. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine here, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine here.
So, from out of his loins shall his heir be born.
Come.
Go ahead.
And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be? And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, where know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took Salak, and he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So that's a future prophecy that that his seed shall be a stranger in a foreign land and serve bondage for 400 years. That stranger is talking about Israel that's going to be brought into another land to serve bondage. Okay. And our 400 years is just about up. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So that nation who they will serve will the Most High also judge. And that nation is the so-called white man. Okay. As well as all other nations that had us in captivity. All nations shall be judged, because all nations have had us in captivity.
That's right.
When you read in the book of Chronicles, okay, the different captivity that Israel has been under. We have been under every nation in one form or another in captivity. The last nation that had us in captivity was the so-called white man. We're still in captivity. It was the so-called Arab and the so-called African that sold us into slavery, into bondage to so-called white man. That's why it's called the slave trade. Two dark-skinned nations conspiring together to bring another dark-skinned nation into captivity. Okay. What verse you in?
Verse 15.
All right.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
The iniquity of the who?
Of the Amorites is not yet full.
The Amorites are the so-called white man that calls himself a Jew today. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And it shall come to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In that same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Canaanites, the Canaanites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
So all these African nations, this is the land of Canaan that the Most High gave unto Abram. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So that's it. So that's it on Genesis 15. Okay. You know. Okay. All right. So close out.
Kal Shara,
Shara,
the Bar Yahweh, Na'ashah, Wena Shemai. All that Yahweh said. What we doing here?
Okay. Step back. No. You're gonna be on camera. All right. So. Okay. All right.
All right.
Don't have the table in this.
No.
All right. Go ahead.
Zanakarya, Bamarkad, Banyahuda, Banyasharala,
Amadium, Barak.
Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabrakata.
Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabrakata.
Okay. All right. Hit the other light. Huh? Okay. So you in Genesis 16?
Khan.
All right.
Yeah, make sure that.
Yeah, I'll be in there. Sorry.
Start reading?
Yeah, go ahead.
Khan.
Down as you go, since something happens, we brought out.
Khan. This is Genesis chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. So basically, Abram's wife couldn't conceive children, so she gave Abram her maid, which was an Egyptian handmaid, which was an Egyptian.
What was her name?
Hagar.
Hagar?
Yeah, Hagar.
All right, go ahead.
It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. So basically, he got with Hagar, right, to have children for his wife. And verse 3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went into Hagar and
Hagar. Yeah, Hagar.
Hagar, and she conceived. So basically, she had children. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
So once she became pregnant, Hagar started to fester hate towards Sarai, her mistress. Okay. So she's about to give birth. Go ahead.
And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into my bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt heartily with her,
Harshly.
Harshly. She said hardly.
Hardly.
Yeah. Harshly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain, in thy way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Cyrus' maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. I'm not trying to say Siri.
Yeah.
Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for a multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
So she shall bear a son, and his name shall be called Ishmael,
God,
who became the father of the Arabs. Okay, Ishmael. All right. So, because of her evil eye towards Sarah, Abram's wife,
What's her name, Sarah?
well, Sarai,
Sarah.
before it became Sarai.
Okay,
All right, and Abram before it become Abram. All right, but we're so used to saying the other one, that's why I kind of have to take it slow. All right, so she put something on her, probably whooped her, and then she ran off, but the angel told her to go back, okay, and gave her this prophecy that you're going to bear a son, and he shall be a great nation, okay, which is Ishmael, the father of the Arabs. Okay, what verse you in?
Verse 12.
Right.
And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him.
A wild man. Okay, and that's what the Arabs are. They are wild by nature. And what do we mean by wild? You got to be a little wild to strap on some explosives and run in the building and yell Allah Akbar and hit the detonator. Okay, blow yourself up as well as everybody else that's in the building. Gotta be a little wild to want to take a plane and crash it into a building. Okay, their end justifies the means because based on their understanding, they're supposed to receive 70 virgins and a life of paradise and luxury in the afterlife. So that's their motivation. But again, wild by nature, by spirit, and then all nations shall be against Ishmael. Okay, and the Arabs are basically drew the land in the sand, and they're standing against the so-called white man, the whole Arab world. Okay, and greatest stand is against the so-called white man who calls himself a Jew, that Amalekites. Okay. All right, go ahead.
And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Bir Jaharoi.
Okay.
Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar.
Fourscore. Okay.
So that's 80.
Right. 86, I think.
Come.
Right. So score is 20. So he said 40 and how many years?
86.
86. So Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. Okay, what verse you in now?
Verse
That was the last
16.
verse.
Go ahead.
Last verse.
Last verse.
And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram.
Okay. So that was the end of the chapter. Let's close that one out and then go into the last chapter in the Torah portion, which is Genesis, the 17th chapter. And you can go to verse 27. I don't know how many verses in there.
27.
All right, come.
All right. Kasharah.
Kasharah.
The Bar Yahweh.
The Bar Yahweh.
Anashah.
Naishah.
What? Anashah.
Naishah.
Naishah.
Come.
Naishah.
Naishah.
Wanashama.
When I Shema.
All that Yahweh said.
All that Yahweh said.
What we doing here?
What we doing here?
Okay, last chapter. Go ahead.
Sanakariyah. Ban Marakad. Ban Yehowadim. Ban Yahasharah.
Amadim. Barak.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshar Bakatam.
Yahweh Yahshua.
Okay.
Come.
All right. Genesis, the 17th chapter. You good? Okay. Genesis 17. All right, go ahead. So we're going to read about the sign of the covenant. Go ahead.
This is Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thy seed exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
So Abram shall be a father of many nations. So from his seeds shall many nations be born on the earth. All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram,
So his name ain't Abram no more, but what shall it be called?
but thy name shall be Abraham.
Come.
Go ahead.
For a father of many nations have I made thee.
Abraham, a father of many nations, have I made thee. Okay, so it's not Abram anymore. From this time forth, it shall be Abraham. Go ahead.
Come.
And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant after thee, and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of the Canaan, for an everlasting possession.
So the land of Canaan shall be given unto his seed, the seed of Abraham. Go ahead.
Come.
And I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, and thy seed after thee, and their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you, thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
So this is the law of circumcision being instituted through Abraham and his seed. Okay. His household, I should say. Go ahead.
And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin.
The flesh of your foreskin of your loin shall be circumcised on the 8th day. Okay. But in this reading,
that time hasn't been established yet. So they're just going through it initially. All right. That's why Ishmael was circumcised at the age of 13. And that's why in the Arab religion of Islam, their men don't get circumcised at the age of 13. All right, go ahead.
So that means like we're not supposed to be being circumcised right now?
No, that doesn't mean that. Go ahead.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations.
So that's the establishment here. Okay, that on the 8th days, when the child is 8 days old, the male child, he shall be circumcised. But at the calling of this law, Ishmael was already 13 years old. So, and Abram hadn't been circumcised yet either. He was what? He was 99 years old. But relatively speaking, that's young for the amount of years that men lived back then. But in this day and age, we're like saying, man, ain't no way.
Hey, come on.
But we have to understand the context of how men aged back in the past. Okay, he was a young man. All right. What verse you in?
13.
All right.
He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
So the covenant, the blood covenant between man and the Most High, made on the 8th day of that male child, from this time forth, even forevermore. So the Lord's circumcision was established on earth by the Most High through Abraham. Is the name changed? All right, what verse you in?
Verse 14.
All right, go ahead.
And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
So whoever doesn't get circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. So this is the institution of circumcision brought into law through Abraham and his household. All right, go ahead.
And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name.
Sharai. All right, so Sharai was changed to Shara. Okay, and Abram was changed to Abraham. All right, so go ahead. What verse you in?
Verse 16.
All right.
And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her. She shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
So the covenant will be established between Abraham, Isaac, and soon to be born Jacob. And from Jacob was the 12 tribes of Israel born after. Okay. And the reason why that covenant wasn't established was Ishmael, because Ishmael was born of the Egyptian woman. Okay. Still of the seed of Abraham, but that blessing, he would be a great nation, but his specific spiritual covenant will be made through Isaac and Jacob. All right, go ahead.
Verse. It's the water. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born of his house, and all that were brought in his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin, and the flesh in the self same day God had said unto him.
That was it. What verse you?
Verse 24.
So, on that same day that he got the commandment for circumcision, that's where all males were circumcised on that same self day. All right, go ahead.
And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in flesh of his foreskin. In the self same day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house born in the house and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him.
So, yeah. So, is that the chapter?
Yeah.
All right. So, you see what happens? The law of circumcision was established through Abraham and his seed, well, his household. Okay, and all males on that same self day were circumcised. Ishmael, being the father of the Arabs, was circumcised when he was 13 years old, and Abraham was circumcised when he was 99. Okay. All right, let's stand and close out this chapter and then go into the other portions.
Kal Sharat,
Kal Sharat,
the Bar Yahweh,
the Bar Yahweh,
Anai Shah,
Naishah,
Wa Shema.
Wanashama.
All that Yahweh said,
All that Yahweh said,
what we doing here.
what we doing here.
Okay, so I want you to read Isaiah the 40th chapter. We're gonna read about Yahweh's promise to his people, Yasha'Allah. All right, Isaiah the 40th chapter, starting from the first verse. Isaiah.
You said 40th chapter.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 1. Confront ye my people, saith your God.
Comfort or confront?
Comfort. Salah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 1. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished. That
So
her
the meaning of our captivity is nearing a close, coming to an end. The meaning of our warfare is coming to a close. Okay, our warfare is this captivity that we're under. Go ahead.
that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Verse 3. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the God shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. The voice said, Cry. And he said, What shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness therefore is as the flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass.
So people are like grass to the Most High. Okay, grass comes and goes, just like people. Okay, what verse you in?
Verse 8. The grass withereth. Verse 9. O Zion, the bringest good tidings. Salaki. Verse 9. O Zion, that bringest good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold the Lord God, who will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. He shall feed his flock like you shepherd. He shall gather his lambs with his arms, and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance. Who hath directed the spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor hath taught him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and shewed him the way of understanding?
And this is what the Most High did to our nation, Yasharala, to show us the way of understanding, to show us knowledge, and how to apply wisdom. Is that it for 40?
There's 31. There's 31 verses.
All right, what verse you on now? 15?
15.
Okay.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts therefore sufficient for a burnt offering.
Okay, what verse you at now?
Verse 17.
All right, go to 20.
Come. This is verse 20. He that is so impoverished that he hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved.
Continue.
Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told?
What verse you in?
Verse 21.
No, he's going to take
Oh,
it.
come on.
All right. Verse 21.
Verse 21. Produce your cause, said the Lord. So that's verse 21. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in it.
So this is the Most High describing how enlarged he really is in comparison to the earth, comparison to the grass, and comparison to us as men. Okay. I mean, he abounds greater than the universe, because he is the universe.
3. That bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yeah, they shall not be planted. Yeah, they shall not be sown. Yeah, their stock shall not take root in the earth. And he shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. Verse 25. To whom then will ye liken me? Or shall I be equal? Said the Holy One.
So Most High saying, if you see that I can do all this, and I am of this great statue, who can you compare me to? There is nobody. He stands alone. All right, go ahead.
Verse 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that bringeth out their hosts by number? He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power. not one faileth. Verse 27. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speakest, O Israel? My way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over from my God. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding.
You can't search the Most High out to say that you know the Most High. You only know as much as he allows you to know. No more, no less. Okay? You can't think on the Most High's level. That's why I said in Isaiah, my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not, your ways are not my ways. So don't even consider you can think on my level because you can't. It's not in you to be able to. Go ahead.
Verse 29. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might. He increaseth, Salah, he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
Let's talk about the regeneration of the nation of Israel, as far as the Most High giving us that celestial body, or giving us that spiritual power to withstand the wiles of the devil. Okay, no weapon that is formed shall prosper against thee. We haven't reached that point yet, so we have to work towards that. What verse you in?
That's the last verse.
All right, so read chapter 41 and go to verse 16.
Okay. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 1. Keep silence before me, O lands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near, then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings. He gave them as the dust of his sword, Salak, as the dust to his sword, and as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them and passed safely, even by the way, that he had not gone with his feet. Who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. The owls saw it and feared. The ends of the earth were afraid, drew near and came. They helped every one his neighbor, and everyone said to his brother, be of good courage. So the carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he that smoothed with the hammer, him that smote the anvil, saying, it is ready for the soldering, and he fastened it with nails, that it should be.
Most High is assuring the nation that he will come to our aid when it's time for that aid to be rendered. All right. We have to work together as a nation. All right. The goldsmith, the blacksmith, all skill sets have to work together to help defend the nation and help build the nation. All right. Go ahead.
That it should not be moved. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend, thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and I cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yeah, I will help thee.
Strengthen and help thee. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
Verse
10. Verse 11. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them, even them that contended with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee.
So the Most High said, fear not, I will help thee. He will fight our battle.
Come.
All right, he will prevail for us because we represent him. His name is on us. It's not our name on him, it's his name on us. So we are called Yasha Allah. So he has to demonstrate that he is the power of Yasha Allah. What verse is that?
That was verse 13.
All right, go ahead. You got 16.
Fear not, thou warm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, said the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Verse 16, thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter from them. Salah shall scatter them, and thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel.
So the Most High shall come with the whirlwinds, come with the destroying storms and scatter them. Okay, the enemies of Yasha Allah. Go to St. John, the 8th chapter. Put the thing on you. Well, you shouldn't see. St. John. All right, so we finished the half Torah portion, Isaiah 40 verse 27 to Isaiah 41 verse 16. Now we're going to the New Testament portion, Brit Kadash, St. John, the 8th chapter, verses 51 through 58.
That's it.
That's it.
So St. John the 8th chapter.
Yeah.
Everybody there?
God.
Alright. This is St. John.
Said 51:8.
51 to 58.
John.
Good.
St. John, chapter 8, verse 51. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death.
So, never see death if we keep the saying of who? Yahushua Hamashiach. All right, keep his sayings. A man shall never see death. All right, go ahead.
Then said the Jews unto him, now we know that thou hast a devil, Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, never taste of death.
Because they didn't understand what Yahushua was saying. That if you follow me, I am the way to immortality. I am the way to not to escape death. But at that time, they couldn't see that. They couldn't understand that. So they said, well, he speaks as he has a devil in him. Okay, because they said, well, Abraham is dead. The prophets before him are dead. But he was saying that he is the key to immortality. Take upon me and have that everlasting life.
Ah,
All right, go ahead.
art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Who makest thou thyself? Jesus answered. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Yahushua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that is your God. Yet ye have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say, I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you, that I know him and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoicing to see my day, and he saw it, and was glad. Then said the Jews unto him, thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham?
Well, he was going in the spirit on that one because he saw him as Melchizedek. All right, but that was over their head.
They couldn't catch that one.
They couldn't catch that one. That was kind of like in the stratosphere for them, you know, because they were still tripping on how you see Abraham.
Yeah.
He's dead, and how do you know the prophets? Okay, so
Verse 58.
okay, go ahead.
Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am.
So before Abraham came to existence, I was already existing as the son of the Most High,
God.
sitting on the right hand throne of the Most High up in the spiritual realm. But again, that was over their heads of understanding, you know, and you know, the disciples understood because they were with him, you know, just like certain of the disciples saw the transfiguration when Masha along with two others. It escapes me right now, but they appeared before Yahushua along with Peter and another disciple, and the disciple said, "Look, we better not even utter what we just saw." That was don't even mention it. And Yahushua told him not to mention it. So, because certain things, certain spiritual things, if you are able to see it, you just can't mention it because it's out there. People gonna want to put you in the crazy house.
Tripping.
Right, you definitely tripping. So that concludes this week's Torah portion.
We'll give 30 seconds for someone to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get 30 seconds for someone to ask a question. If not, then we'll proceed on to our last prayers.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
1,000 ones.
1,001.
So we're fastly approaching the year 2019. From the year 1619 to 2019, that would be 400 years. That's not to say that we're promised deliverance, but we're near a plateau of fulfilling 400 years of captivity that we were commanded to go through. When you look at the news, a lot of things are happening on the international zone. The petrodollar, which all this is another topic for video, but briefly, they want to change the standard from the petrodollar to the gold and silver standard. Russia and China have amassed much stockpiles of gold, okay, and they have an army, a standing army, and a lot of weapons. But you can't have gold without an army. They have made it quite plain that to America that when we change the standard of gold, or when we change the standard of paying in dollars to paying in either the Chinese currency, the yuan, or another currency, or in gold itself, don't even think about trying to do something militarily, because America used his military to go against Saddam Hussein when he wanted to change the standard from the dollar to gold, and they used their military against Gaddafi when he wanted to change the standard of paying for oil from the dollar to gold. And they're waging war against Syria. They're waging war against Afghanistan, okay, to get control of minerals and resources. But they ain't ready to wage war against the bear, okay, and China, and all that's biblical prophecy in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, okay. And then what you see happening, nations are slowly turning against America, okay. But you have to ask yourself, well, how are they going to do that? Well, the first way to do it is to change the economy. The world economy is based on dollars. If you change the economy from dollars to another currency, this economy is going to tank. Goods and services is going to come to a halt. Inflation is going to go through the roof. You're going to have to pay more money for the same things as you're paying for with less money, because the money won't have any value to it. Okay, and that's going to lead to martial law. That's going to lead to civil unrest, civil war, chaos, both domestically and internationally. The whole global economy is about to be turned upside down by the will of the Most High. Okay, the Most High is about to turn everybody's currency, everybody's economy is going to tank. Why? Because his chosen has to be delivered. That's us. And all nations will be gathered into where? The valley of Jehoshaphat, which is what? The valley of decision, which is where? In the Middle East. Okay? In the Middle East. All nations are being gathered there for war, for one reason or another. Whether it's for oil, whether it's for gold, whether it's for minerals, okay? Whatever geopolitical reason a nation has a vested interest to bring their army into that region, they're being drawn there. By who? Spiritually, it's the Most High drawing all nations. Okay, because look, we ain't got no power. So don't even think like you got some power. We have nothing. Okay, but the Most High. But you don't have the most. You won't have the Most High if you're not demonstrating some type of form of obedience. Okay, the royal basics: repentance, obedience, Yahweh, Yahushua, Yasha'Allah, and the understanding and preparing for these last days. Precept. Break it down when you get it.
This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 34.
Okay.
Think not that I have come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword.
Alright, so Yahushua, when he come back, he not playing games. Alright, he's coming back to judge those who was not keeping the law and save those that was. So we gotta get together and keep these laws, statutes, commandments to the Most High God.
To the best of your ability.
Huh.
Okay. You're gonna make mistakes, but you can't willfully be sinning. You can't willfully not keep the Shabbat. You can't willfully not keep the dietary law. You can't willfully not keep the holy convocations as they come up. Okay, you can't willfully not keep the new moon, which is the Kadash, the start of the new month. Okay. All this is to get, you want as many checks on your report card as possible, because you got a lot of minuses on that report card also. All right. The Most High is not playing. Okay, and he's about to turn up the heat on America. America's about to feel it. The so-called white man's about to feel it. And you so-called Negroes, West Indian, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, Dominicans, Panamanians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indian, Argentinians, Chileans, Colombians, Brazilian, Uruguayans, and Mexicans of Indian and Negro descent, of Aztec and Maya descent, of Awiqua descent. If you don't get your act together, you're going to be caught up in this wrath of the Most High. We're only doing our job of warning you. We are those watchmen. We don't want the blood on our hands, so that's why we come out weekly, as much as possible to warn you to change from your ways that you have learned here in America.
Most High gonna cut your neck off.
All right, so with that being said, I think 30 seconds have passed. We can stand and face Jerusalem. Let me close me out here so I can get that. All right, everybody ready?
Calm.
Okay, the Lehu. It is our duty to praise the Master of all, to ascribe greatness to the author of creation. It was not made us like the nations of the lands, nor placed like the lands of the earth. It was not made our portion like theirs, nor our destiny like all their multitudes. For they worship vanity and emptiness and pray to a deity who could not save. But we bow. Bow down. But we bow in worship and thank the Supreme King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, who extends the heavens and establishes the earth, whose throne of glory is in the heavens above, and whose power's presence in the highest of heights. He is our Elohim, there is no other. Truly He is our King, there is none else. As is written in this Torah, ye shall know and take to heart this day that Yahweh is Elohim in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is no other. Bashem, Yahushua, Hamashiach, Aman. Right, the Shemai. Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Akkad, Wahapta, Af Yahweh, Alahayaka, Bakal, Lababka, Wamakal, Napashka, Wamakal, Ma'adka. Hero Israel, Yahweh our power, is one, and thou shalt love, Yahweh, with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might, in these words, which I command thee, this day, shall be in thy heart, and thou shalt teach them, diligently, unto thy children, and shalt talk to them, when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down,
When thou liest down,
when thou risest up,
when thou risest up,
and thou shalt bind them
and thou shalt bind them
for a sign
for a sign
upon thy hand,
upon thy head,
and they shall be
and they shall be
as frontlets
as frontlets
between thy eyes,
between thine eyes,
and thou shalt write them
and thou shalt write them
upon the posts
upon the posts
of thy house,
of thy house,
and
and the
on thy gates.
on thy gate.
Bashem,
Bashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Aman.
Aman.
Okay, we can stand. Okay, the Ten Commandments. Okay. Anya,
Anya,
Alahayika,
Alahayika,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Awatazah,
Awatazah,
Afkika,
Afkika,
Haratazah,
Haratazah,
Batazariah,
Matazariah,
Mabaya,
Mabaya,
Da'ibadam,
Daibadam,
La'a,
La'a,
Yahaya,
Yahaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Alahariam,
Alahariam,
Akariam,
Akariam,
Alpanya,
Alpanya,
La'a,
La'a,
Da'aisha,
Daisha,
Laka,
Laka,
Pasal,
Wasal,
Pasal,
Pasal,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Da'ibadam,
Daibadam,
La'a,
La'a,
Talakwaka,
Talakwaka,
Shem Yahweh,
Shem Yahweh,
Bashawa,
Bashawa,
Zakah,
Zakah,
Hayawam,
Hayawam,
Hashabah,
Hashabah,
Lakodashwa,
Lakodashka,
Kabah,
Kabah,
Abaka,
Habaka,
Wa Amaka,
Wa'amaka,
La'a,
La'a,
Daratazah,
Daratazah,
La'a,
La'a,
Dana'a,
Dana'a,
La'a,
La'a,
Daganah,
Daganah,
La'a,
La'a,
Da'ainah,
Da'ainah,
Shakur,
Shakur,
La'a,
La'a,
Dakamad,
Dakamad,
Kor,
Kor,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Lara'ika.
Laraika,
Hero Israel,
Hero Israel,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Allahayim,
Allahayim,
Yahweh is one.
Yahweh is one,
And thou shalt love,
and thou shalt love
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
the Allahayim,
the Allahayim,
with all thy heart,
with all thy heart,
with all thy soul,
with all thy
with
soul,
all thy might.
with all thy might.
Okay, that's the first greatest commandment. The second greatest commandment, Leviticus 19:18.
Ka,
La'ah,
La'ah,
the Kwam,
Takwam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
the Tar,
the Tar,
Af,
Af,
Banya,
Banya,
Ainka,
Aika,
Wa,
Wa,
Hahapta,
Lahaka,
Lara'ika,
Laraika,
Kamawaka,
Kamawaka,
Anya,
Anya,
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
And thou shalt not
thou shalt not
avenge,
avenge,
nor bear,
nor bear
any grudge
any grudge
against the children
against the children
of thy people.
of thy people,
But thou shalt love
but thou shalt love
thy neighbor
thy neighbor
as thyself.
as thyself.
I am Yahweh.
I am Yahweh.
Okay. All right, Zechariah 1, Asher memorial of the woman. Now when Yahweh was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he said at me. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for 300 pence. 1 year's wages are given to the poor. When Yahweh understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she has wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman has done be told for memorial of her. Bashem,
Bashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Aman.
Aman.
All right, get Exodus 20th chapter. Read from the second verse to verse 18. Let's go.
Con. Okay.
We was under the light.
All right, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything in the heaven above, or in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, nor the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that then is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Aman.
Aman.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Akaya.
Amafka.
Amafka.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Hashabah.
Hashabah.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Amafka.
Amafka.
The water.
The water.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
The water.
The water.
Tamyah.
Tamyah.
Aman.
Aman.
Right.
Madu. Barak. Yahweh Bashem Yashab Rakatah.
Yahweh Yahweh
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Okay, so that concludes this week's Torah portion. Hope you got something out of it. Okay, keep the faith. Maintain the belief in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Mashiach through all the trials and tribulation that we will be going through in the days to come. Watch as well as prepare and get ready for battle. Okay? Get yourself physically, spiritually, and mentally prepared. Kwam Yashala. Okay. No, we ain't going out. Cause she sleep. Nah, because she sleep.